Good afternoon, I'm Brian Reagan. This is
Tyler Kelly.
And we don't know why our screen is so dark, but it's all good. But today we are in Luke chapter 8, verses 22 through 25, Tyler.
Now it happened on a certain day that he got into the boat with his disciples, and he said to them, "Let us cross over to the other side of the lake." And they launched out. But as they sailed, he fell asleep, and a windstorm came down on the lake, and they were filled with water, and were in jeopardy. And they came to him and awoke him, saying, "Master, Master, we are perishing." Then he arose and rebuked the wind and the raging of the water. Then they ceased, and there was a calm. But he said to them, "Where is your faith?" And they were afraid, and marveled, saying to one another, "Who can this be? For he commands even the winds and the water, and they obey him."
All right, so quite a few things going on here. I want you to see one thing here with Jesus, and this applies to prayer. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of people waste their prayers. They waste their prayers. What is the problem that they have in this boat, Tyler? What's the problem that has them scared?
That they're going to get flooded and they're going to drown.
So the issue is the water, right?
For them, yes. At least they think it is.
Well, they're afraid it's going to flood, so that would be a water issue, right?
Yeah.
So what's the issue, though?
They have no faith.
No, not even that. What's the real issue here? What's really in danger of putting the ship in danger of sinking, at least from their perspective? Okay. It's the wind. If there is no wind, are there any waves to splash into the boat? But most of the time when people pray, they focus on the water coming in the boat. They don't look at what's behind putting the water in their boat. Now we could go into the whole thing, they should have known that since they had Jesus, they weren't going to drown. No, that's what you think you know on this side of it, having the story in front of you and knowing that they all lived. Yeah, please don't. Just know. He said, well, Jesus rebukes them for their lack of faith. Because he's been teaching them something that they should have learned, and that is they could have rebuked the wind themselves. No, brother. True or false? The Apostle Paul raised people from the dead, Tyler.
Yeah, it's true.
True or false? Peter raised people from the dead.
True.
True or false? Peter and Paul both did miracles that Jesus never did. Yeah, that's also true. Okay. Now, if Peter had that ability to do stuff that Jesus did and to do stuff that Jesus didn't do, because once Peter had the Holy Spirit indwelling him, Jesus said, "You're going to do greater works than me, dude." Right? They could have rebuked the wind. They didn't have to wake Jesus up. They could have spoke to the wind themselves. But they got so focused on the water splashing in the boat that they forgot what Jesus had been teaching them, and they could have rebuked the wind themselves, and that would have been the end of their water issue. And I want you to take some thought on this one. Not to argue with me, but to ask yourself when you pray, are you praying about the symptom or are you praying against the cause? Because there'd have been no water in the boat if it wasn't for the wind creating the waves that caused the water to be a problem in the first place. That's why it says, and Jesus rebuked the wind, and the waves ceased. Just something to think about, y'all. I'm Brian Reagan. This is
Tyler Kelly.
We bid you good afternoon.